Hey guys, I'm back. If you follow my channel, you might have seen the live Q&A that I did last week. And I've gotten quite a few questions since then. And in particular, I got a whole lot of questions, a whole lot of really awesome questions from a follower named Jessica, who she regularly comments on my videos and everything. And she really had some awesome questions that I've honestly felt like her questions deserve to be in their own video. So I am going to answer her questions. So the first one is, where are you from? I'm from Tennessee. Was it hard growing up with an illness? Well, I wouldn't consider spina bifida technically an illness. It's a birth defect, and there were parts of it that were hard. I was really, really lucky that when I was a teenager, my mom got me involved in a really awesome program. And it was an adaptive sports program called Able Youth. And it was a whole lot of young teenagers with disabilities. And so once that program came into my life, things got a little bit easier, but I definitely did struggle through some of the teenage years and wanting boys to like me. I still feel like I go through the awkward adult years too. But you learn how to deal with your condition, whatever it is. Let's see, the next question was, did you find dating hard with a disability? Yes and no. I did have boyfriends in high school and college and things like that. I had one serious boyfriend in high school and then a couple of serious boyfriends in college before meeting my husband, Wes. It was hard, trying to figure out when to tell somebody what, and what parts you were comfortable and just trying to gauge that part of the situation, because there are medical things that sometimes come up when you have a disability. And so I do think that it's really important to have those conversations, but I also think that you need to have the trust built up in that relationship too before you can open up. So I think finding that balance and all of that, and not only finding the balance and like when do you talk about those things, but just finding somebody that can accept you for you and see past the disability to some degree too, is kind of the hard part of that. Next one was, when and where did you meet your husband, Wes? Wes and I first met in 2005, and then our paths crossed in 2007. We met in a town called Murfreesboro, which is like Middle Tennessee. Was it love at first sight? I don't know if it was love at first sight, but it was definitely, interest pretty early on. So, was it hard or easier dating someone else in a wheelchair? That's a good question. I would say it's easier in the sense that we basically only had to ever really have one real conversation about our disabilities. And we both kind of had a working knowledge of certain things within the disability aspect of everything. So in that sense, it was an easy conversation to have. But, there are things, like making sure that you can both fit into certain spaces, which, it's just kind of logistics of random things. And just, sometimes it takes a little bit longer if we've got two chairs that need to be loaded up or, whatever. So there are things that maybe are a little bit more difficult, but for the most part, it's not that different. And honestly, we get each other on a completely different level. So it really balances itself out in the long run, I feel like. What style of wedding did you have? I would say elegant, classy. Do you want kids? Definitely would love to have kids one day. We do have 3 dogs though. What are your hobbies? I love to do calligraphy. I love live music, anything crafty. I love anything crafty. Fitness. What got me into fitness? Actually, what got me into fitness was my thyroid cancer diagnosis. When I was pretty sure I was about to be facing my second thyroid surgery, I just decided that I really, really wanted to make sure that I was taking better care of myself. And so I started to get into the gym more, and then I just kind of got, kind of hooked on it a little bit. How often do you go to the gym a week? Generally once a week. Right now is a little bit harder. I'm still trying to go at least once a week. For a while, I was going 2 and 3 times a week, but life happens. So I do try to get in pretty much at least once a week. Are you strict about what you eat? Definitely not. I probably should be more strict. Do I take protein supplements or drinks? I do drink a protein shake that's called Myoplex because we sometimes will get on what's called a slow carb diet. And so basically that's where you don't do anything white. So you don't eat sugar, you don't eat flour or anything like that. But you get a cheat day, and Myoplex shakes are one of the few things that have sugar in them that you can have. So that's the protein that I like. What's my favorite type of workout? Honestly, I would say the bench press. That's not necessarily a workout, but it is definitely an exercise that I really, really enjoy because it's really challenging, and I get to see my growth pretty much every time I get back into the gym. And so if I've had kind of maybe like an off week, it's really, really rewarding to come back in and have a really good week on the bench press because it is the hardest thing that I probably do. So let's see. Did you struggle to find the right gym and trainer? Honestly, I just kind of took whatever trainer was available. I've had 3 different trainers with completely different methods, and they've all been really, really good. My first guy was more of a CrossFit trainer. My second trainer was more into bodybuilding and competitions and things like that. And my current trainer right now has more of a sports background and a hockey background, and more of like a physical therapy background. So they're just different. I really like my current trainer because he understands, sometimes you have a discouraging day in the gym, and he's really, really good at like helping you find attainable goals that help set you up for success, so you don't just leave the gym feeling defeated. He really is awesome at like getting me out of like a bad mood and really setting me up for success. So been really, really happy with him the last few months that I've been working with him. So what else? Do you do anything else outside of the gym, like basketball, yoga, or meditation or anything? So I actually really like Zumba. I don't get to do it as often as I would like to, but I love dance. Being on the first ever wheelchair cheerleading squad was really fun when I was a kid, and so I love to incorporate dance. So can you swim? I cannot swim. I'm actually terrified of drowning. I don't know anybody that isn't a little bit afraid of drowning, but no, I'm not a swimmer, not comfortable swimming. But I have water skied and inner tubed before, so I don't get it, but I do enjoy those. What are 3 things you like to do? What are your hobbies? Do you like shopping? I like shopping. I like makeup. You mentioned what's my favorite brand. I'll get to that in a second. But yeah, makeup, calligraphy, arts, crafts, music, gym sometimes, most days. Do you like shopping? Yes. My favorite brand of makeup is MAC makeup, but I have started to branch out into some other brands. So not really anything in particular, just different products out there. Would I consider doing tutorials on my channel? Yeah, I would love to do makeup tutorials. I don't know that I'm the best. It takes me forever to do my makeup. But yeah, I'm definitely have tried to branch out into the beauty side of things a little bit. Yeah, I'm definitely open to makeup tutorials. What are you doing with your music? Would you perform on your channel? Okay, so I actually am not a musician myself. I just like to promote really good artists out there. I will sing karaoke every now and then, and every now and then I'll sing with a friend's live band. But beyond that, I usually let everybody else do the singing, and I just brag on them about their talent. So what type of food do you like? Italian is my favorite. What's your favorite restaurant? Probably Cheesecake Factory. That's where my husband and I had our first date, so I'm kind of partial to that. What's your favorite place to visit? My favorite place to visit is LA. Again, that's where my husband moved after we started dating, and so it's kind of a nostalgia thing for me, so definitely LA. My dog's names, she asked what my dog's names are Abram, like the tank, Jackson and Lily. What's your favorite type of pet? Dogs. I like penguins too, actually. It's not really a pet, although that would be an awesome pet to have, I feel like. No, dogs are my favorite though. For your relationship, what best describes you and your husband? Ridiculous. No. Yeah, actually, ridiculous is pretty good. Like, we're ridiculously still tolerable of each other, and we're pretty ridiculously silly on some days. So, yeah, ridiculous is a good word. Do we still do date nights? Where's your favorite place to go? Again, Cheesecake Factory is definitely our favorite. And yeah, we do try really, really hard to do date nights. Actually, he surprised me last night, and we went to a a show at a place called City Winery, and Hunter Hayes was there. He's one of my favorites, behind Keith Urban. What made you start your channel, and did you at any stage say to yourself, I can't do this? Well, I question it after every video of, is this going to work out? I really do enjoy it. What got me really into it though, was after I was crowned Miss Wheelchair Tennessee a few months ago, just realizing that there were a lot of questions out there that people wanted to ask. And this was a really, really good platform, and just an opportunity to really answer questions that people are afraid to ask sometimes. And so I've just kind of taken it from my own experiences in life, and really, kind of the questions that people ask me in private conversations, or, maybe they've messaged me on Facebook to ask me or whatever. And that's kind of how I've based most of my channel, not all of it, obviously, because I do makeup and things like that. But even those, they come from, people's suggestions on what I should do with my channel. So definitely base it off of what people are looking for and what they need at the time. So what's your husband's most annoying habit? What's that stupid car game you play? Yeah, he plays this really dumb game called Rocket League. Sorry for the gamers out there. I'm so tired of seeing that game. What do you love most about your husband? I only have to pick one. Just his giving heart, his unconditional love for me and for other people. He's just a really good person at heart. So, what do you enjoy the most about doing YouTube? My favorite part is just the growth, like watching my own personal growth, but also just seeing every week the channel grow and reach more and more people, and to have comments where people have said that that my video helped in some way. That's really why I want to keep doing these, because I feel like they are helping people. What's your opinion on the new codes of practice or rules governing your YouTube channels? Well, I got onto YouTube right after they changed all of the rules, so I personally don't have a problem with it, but I do understand the frustration that other people have had with channels being demonetized. But again, rules change all the time. So what are your plans for your YouTube channel? Honestly, my YouTube channel is going to be whatever it grows into. I'm really open to pretty much anything within reason, and as long as it's helping people and it's making a difference and it's enjoyable and it's fulfilling, I'm going to keep doing it. I don't really have a set plan. I would love to meet the minimum requirements to monetize, but I'm enjoying it regardless of monetization coming or not. So yeah. What type of spina bifida do you have? I was born with myelomeningocele, which is the most severe form of spina bifida, but I actually have a pretty mild case of that form. So my spine was affected at L4-5, so right at the hips. What are your funniest or worst stories about living with a disability? That is going to be another video at another time, so I'm going to leave you hanging on that one for now. Do you believe in alternative therapies? I believe that they can be helpful, but I also believe that sometimes you do just need prescribed medication. I think that there is nothing wrong with going one route or the other. It's whatever you're comfortable with, but sometimes natural medication doesn't, especially with thyroid medications, they don't always provide the same level of stability that you need to keep levels balanced. So I personally don't rely completely on natural remedies or methods or whatever, but I do think that they can help. So that's just my personal feeling on it. Are you receiving any ongoing therapies for your spina bifida? So after my second thyroid surgery, actually, I started to have physical therapy on my neck. You can probably see my scar right here because I had a lot of scar tissue on my neck, and it's really built up and everything through here, and so I was having a lot of pain from it, and was talked into starting lymphedema therapy, for the fluid and things like that, and just to keep everything kind of loosened up and help with the scar tissue and everything. We figured out that my pain in my neck was also triggering pain in my lower back and vice versa, and so everything was just staying really, really tight, and that led me to doing some physical therapy on my hips and back and things like that. And actually, my trainer and I, we try to really make sure that my back and my hips are really stretched out before we start to do anything too strenuous. So but that's about the extent of it for me at this point. Is your cancer still in complete remission? I'm technically not in complete remission until June of next year. Thyroid cancer, for the official cancer-free diagnosis, is 5 years, and I'm just over 4 right now, so I've still got about a year left. It was papillary thyroid cancer, and it was originally misdiagnosed as stage 3, and then I was re-diagnosed at the year mark with stage 1, because stage 3 technically doesn't exist in my age range. But if you were to look outside of my age range, actually, because it had moved into the lymph nodes, it technically was stage 3 if you weren't focusing on the age ranges. So it was very confusing for a while, but basically I'm stage 1 right now, which is pretty good. Right now I'm basically as good as it can get without being at the 5-year mark. We do sometimes make changes on my medication, but for the most part I'm pretty stable at this point. What was the worst part about your cancer treatment? Worst part was not having the right doctor for the first year and living in fear of death. Realistically, it was very, very hard to be 27 or 28 and feel like you might not survive. And so, it was a relief for me at the year 1 mark to know that the diagnosis wasn't as bad as I was led to believe. And so kind of thrown into that is just one of the hard parts is just figuring it all out, navigating through all of it and trying to find the right information and find the right information that works for you. Because there are lots and lots of different treatments and methods for treating thyroid conditions. And so not everything works for everybody, and so you just have to kind of figure out what works for you. And so that's kind of tricky sometimes, and it can be really frustrating at times too. It can be really discouraging when by blood work everything looks fine and you still feel like crap. So just trying to slow down and take care of myself was kind of challenging too. Did you suffer a lot with depression with your illness? Not necessarily depression. Yeah, there was probably a phase of depression. It was more fear and more anxiety, though, than anything. It was more the fear of what if. But at the same time, I always had sort of an answer to the what if it comes back. And it was kind of like, well, what if it comes back? Well, we'll deal with it. We'll deal with it however we need to. We'll take it one step at a time. And so, that's all you can really do. Have you and your husband ever discussed what if your condition gets worse? What would you do? Honestly, we haven't really talked about that, but he definitely, took time off from work and things like that when I needed a longer recovery period. I was on a weight restriction for what I could lift right after surgery and everything. So he did take FMLA, which is family medical leave. He took a much longer break the first time around, but because we, we were facing the second surgery. We kind of knew what to expect from the second surgery. He only took off like maybe a week or two because I wouldn't let him stay home for that long. I didn't think there was any reason to. But also, like, kind of going back to the, what was the hard part about it was going through RAI 131, which is radioactive iodine, which is a form of radiation. You don't lose your hair or anything like that on 131. And to my knowledge, I don't think you do at all. But they pretty much tell you that there aren't really any side effects necessarily, and they're definitely worse. So again, that kind of goes back to finding the right doctor. So that was kind of my motivation after I knew I was going to be going through a second surgery was, okay, I've got to find the right doctor for me. So, do you think your illness and disability has stopped you from achieving anything? Physically, not anything that I really wanted to pursue. There are emotional hurdles that come from, just getting into your own head and doubting yourself. I think everybody kind of deals with that to some degree. But, I've definitely doubted myself in some areas where, I think, oh, well, they're never going to look past the disability, so why even bother? So, there are situations like that where I have let it sometimes get me down. But for the most part, I'm pretty fearless on certain things. I have fear, but I don't let the fear hold me back from doing certain things. Any positives about having a disability? Honestly, there are a lot of positives for me. I met my husband. I've made some really, really awesome, amazing friendships that might not have ever happened if it weren't for that. But our biggest couple of other things that I've gotten to do is, like, I've gotten to travel all over the country and out of the country even with friends with disabilities. And so just getting to travel all over the country and meet new people within the disability community has been really fun. But more importantly than that, like, I've gained so much more compassion for other people in the process, because you do realize that there are, bigger challenges out there than your own. And, it's a little bit easier to put yourself in somebody's shoes a little bit if you know that sometimes journeys like that are hard. So I definitely think that it's helped me gain compassion. So what's your views on taunting and bullying people with a disability? I think bullying is wrong on any level. I don't care if it's about politics, religion, race, gender, sexual orientation, whatever. It's not okay. And specifically on things that are beyond somebody's control, whether it's, sexual orientation, disability, whatever it is, if it's beyond their control, just stop. It's so unnecessary, and it's creating more chaos than there already is in the world. And sometimes I just think we all need to just, again, have compassion and put ourselves in other people's shoes and really think, like, how would I feel if I were in their position and somebody was treating me this way? Because I think if we stop and think about that more, we would think twice about what we're saying to people. So, what made you decide to advocate for people with disabilities? That is because I am somebody with a disability, and there are so many things that still need improvement, and there are so many people out there that don't feel like that they can have a voice. And I just really wanted to help people have a voice like that. That's really what it comes down to. I really, really wanted to, help my community, the world around me in some way. Like, I don't know. I've always had it in me to want to be a fixer and help people. And my title, Miss Wheelchair Tennessee, has been a really, really awesome way to do that. So, yeah. That's a lot of why I wanted to do it. And, I think that it makes a positive difference for some people out there. And if it helps one person, it's worth it to me. If it makes a positive change for a program or, an opportunity for people in the future, then it's worth speaking up for. And, sometimes people just don't know how to fix things, and they need somebody to say, hey, here is a suggestion that I think could really benefit your, business or your festival or whatever it is. So, there's a lot of different reasons, but anyway, I think that was all of your questions. Hopefully I answered all of them, Jessica, and thank you again. I really appreciate it. And, I'm sorry that you weren't feeling well and you missed the live Q&A last time, but I'm really, really happy that you, came up with so many awesome questions. If you like videos like this, definitely, shoot me a message. I actually really enjoy just, sharing my life and sharing my experiences. And I think that we all are given a story for a reason. And I feel like maybe this is part of my reason. But yeah, I enjoy it. So if you aren't subscribed to my channel, make sure that you subscribe and let me know what other videos you want to see. All right, guys. Have a great night. Thanks again, Jessica. Bye.